Tonight, we are all allies in the fight against human trafficking. But what exactly are we fighting against?
Human trafficking is modern-day slavery. It is people being forced, coerced into work where there's either little or no pay. So for sex trafficking, the type of labor that the victims are being forced into is labor involving sexual acts. For labor trafficking, it's any other job function that can include, work in agriculture, work in dry cleaning, work in other cleaning services. Really, any kind of job you can hold can be the basis for some form of labor trafficking.
Hollywood tells us that human trafficking happens in faraway lands with brazen abductions and daring rescues. That's a small sliver of the problem. The bigger truth is that human trafficking is happening in the shadows of your everyday world.
Victims are interacting with people on a daily basis, and those with whom they're interacting don't know that that individual is in fact being trafficked.
Human trafficking is definitely a problem in America. This is something that we see in every major city. We have cases across the nation that are constantly going through the courts.
Human trafficking occurs everywhere by a variety of different individuals, and it targets a variety of different individuals.
The biggest myth about human trafficking is that it won't happen to me or it won't happen to somebody I know. It won't happen to a loved one.
I think that the public sometimes has an idea of what they think a victim of human trafficking looks like or sounds like or what their age is. And so victims of human trafficking, there's no gender, there's no sexual orientation, there's no race or age or economic situation. It reaches absolutely everyone.
We had a case here in St. Charles County that we actually had a jury trial with, where we had a victim who was a good student, socially engaged in activities, had seemingly good friends, and she ended up as a minor working in the sex trafficking industry. So it can happen to anybody.
It's far more widespread than the public would initially believe.
It's not about being taken, it's about being trapped in plain sight.
The vulnerabilities that a person has is what puts them at risk. And vulnerabilities look different for different people, whether it's financial, whether it's emotional, whether it's age, whether it's disability.
Even if you think you have self-esteem, self-worth, something in you, maybe you don't, to where you start to believe those lies that they're telling you.
There's the quick access to money, quick access to drugs, quick and easy access to a lifestyle maybe they haven't lived before, fancy clothes, fancy places, fancy restaurants.
And you become attracted to what they're offering, and that's how you get in.
They're looking for those vulnerabilities in order to exploit it.
Once a trafficker discovers a vulnerability, they begin manipulating their victims by taking advantage of their trust and hope for a better life.
Sometimes the victim brings kind of an undeveloped, incomplete sense of self to a relationship, and these traffickers are incredibly coercive and charismatic, and they know how to fill up the empty holes of a trafficking victim in such a way that it seems like a mutually beneficial relationship, even though it is incredibly one-sided and damaging to the victims.
Your typical trafficker could be male, could be female, black, white.
Any age, any social economic background, any sexual orientation. It is someone who feels comfortable with taking advantage of someone else at their lowest point.
One common characteristic is just manipulation. Somebody who can be charismatic or can use their anger as a tool, use their fear as a tool, or use physical violence as a tool.
People find an easy way to money, easy way to maybe feel empowered because they have people working for them.
Human trafficking is not a victimless crime. Human trafficking destroys lives. It rips families apart.
The problem is real. Human trafficking is a rapidly growing criminal industry, but we can make a difference.